If SSG wins this, they win the entire grid. I would expect SSG to make the grand final. I think they'd probably take NRG in their current form, but we'll see. We'll see. This is it, guys. We are getting underway with the two best teams in North America going head to head. Envy in the blue, Space Station Gaming in the orange. Oh, it's been a long wait for this, but we're finally going to get to watch it one more time. Is this the first time they've played this year? I don't think Envy and Space Station matched up in any of the small off-season tournaments in 2021 so far. But, you know, we've got to be honest and say that Space Station come in this as slight underdogs. Envy have been in an absolute tear at the moment, but that's a fantastic save for Rettles to keep SSG in a tie match to start off. Now, to summarize Space Station's run through the grid so far, they've had a lot of offensive creativity. The firepower has definitely been there. They've had solo plays, they've had mechanical ability on display, and they've had plenty of teamwork. They've been linking up brilliantly with the passing and with the follow-ups on pressure plays. But what they have maybe lacked a little bit is defensive consistency. Now, Space Station, I'm sure, are going to be a lot more careful about long shots, hard clears, passing plays. It's basically any quick counter-attacking opportunities Envy are going to go for. Space Station will probably be expecting that a lot more than they do against the lower quality opposition. So you can already see that they're really going at this fully focused. Typical doesn't read the bounce that's happening behind him. And on Envy's side, Turbo struggling to get into the game a little bit here. Couple of misses there, although one of them was off the back of Rettles just being incredibly quick to the ball in defense. Something that Turbo wasn't quite ready for. But Envy are quite happy to sit in goal, and this is something that's been frustrating for a lot of teams to play against. All of a sudden, Typical makes it 1-0. And although Envy are quite happy to play defense against most teams, they've got to be more careful at it than that. Mist was not hiding on the right side of the goal there. Arsenal was able to hit him supersonic, demo him clean out of the play. And you know, if you're stationary in the net, you want to be hiding inside that near post, so you can't get demoed. You can maybe get bumped, but it's hard for someone to keep up supersonic speed while coming around the near post like that. If you hide in the far post side of the goal, much easier for the player going for the demo to catch you out of position. 1-0 Space Station Gaming, full team offensive play. Turbo's goalkeeping tested. We've got a boost seal coming in from Arsenal at the other side of the goal. As Typical attempts a double touch, calls Arsenal in, so he didn't have the boost to reach that one. Great communication for Space Station so far. You see that they're linking together extremely well. Oh, look at Envy once more showing off their threats on counter-attacks, and this is why Envy are quite happy to sit back at times. Their counters are insane. That's a great save by Typical. Turbo running riot on the goal line, but Typical standing strong in front of him. Now Typical's missed on a near post read, or near post corner read. And again, it's Space Station leaving their net open. That makes them look vulnerable. This is something that they like to do. They don't like to be sitting in the net. They like to be active and around the net. They want to be constantly moving. It makes them a very hard defense to hit with demos. At least more so than Envy, who are a bit more stationary in the goal at times. But what it does do for SSG is it means that double commits are more likely. It's much harder to communicate whose ball is what in these positions, because by the time the comm comes through, you already have somebody up in the air from one angle, somebody up in the air from the other angle as well. This works out okay for SSG. They are scrambling back when necessary, keeping Envy at bay. Just under 100 seconds for Envy to come back. Mist alone in the middle. That's not a sight you want to see as a Space Station Gaming fan. But Mist has missed the ball. A strange thing to see these days. Mist, for me, been a solid top 5 player NA all season, although these days Atomic has been sealing the spotlight a little bit more. He doesn't get into it there. That's more defense from SSG, showing incredibly solid responses to all the Envy attacks. Arsenal's side flip. Typical's flipped away from this one as well. It's now Atomic on the counter attack. He's going to try and offload to Mist, but Typical again, goal side of the ball. Gets a good touch on it. Less than a minute left. SSG don't have a lot of boost in defense, and Rails is backwards as well, and that's going to be a goal for Mist. The whole team for SSG in the near post area, and I feel like I've seen this far too many times. They just do not like to keep someone in the goal. Rettles left the net, went reversed on the back wall at the near post side, and I don't really feel like he contributed a lot to that play. Staying back might have given Space Station more coverage. Now here come Envy again. Rettles has not cleared this one effectively. Mist is going to score a second goal, and Space Station will be kicking themselves because they played such a clean game for a long time here, and now a couple of mistakes. They got a bit jammed in close together at the near post on one play, and now they've conceded after a kickoff on the very next play. 46 seconds remaining. Now it's Space Station Gaming. They need to do something about this. Arsenal leaves it for Rettles. Double commit for Envy, but look at the bumps coming in from Turbo. That's denied Arsenal any part of the play. Mist avoids the SSG demo, which would have left the net wide open once again. Final 30 seconds of game one. Arsenal wants to take on Mist in the air. Mist beats him, gets a second touch to the ball, but Rettles fires low, and it's not a good touch for Turbo. It's in! What a shot by Rettles. He decides to fire low because he saw the pre-jump, and there might have even been a bit of a bump from Arsenal onto the Envy player in defense there. Huge bump potentially for SSG because it's leveled the series, leveled the score of game one rather. I suppose leveled the series as well for now. But will we get OT? We had the chat prediction. A lot of people expecting at least one OT this series. Are you going to get one right here, right now? Oh, it was a lovely mind game attempt there by Envy. Didn't amount to anything as SSG have played the ball, and into OT we go. Congrats to everybody in the chat who predicted at least one OT this series. I mean, I feel like this had to be a yes prediction. I think, you know, seeing at least 2 OTs this series is likely. 3 is very possible. Who knows? With the 2 best teams in NA playing as well as they currently are, you could get a whole game, a whole series of OTs. Arsenal lingers downfield, trying to 1-2 with Sipical. Actually brings Rettles into the mix. Sipical was playing for the bump again. Rettles takes his time and now comes in with authority. Turbo clamps his dribble. That's great defense from Turbo. It wasn't an easy position for the goalkeeper to challenge from. After a slow start to the match, Turbo's very much woken up now. And you really feel like neither of these teams would have had a great preparation in the previous round, both sweeping wins. But now it is absolutely game on. Turbo denied by Sipical's chasing challenge from behind, and that was a necessary ambush attack. Space Station are definitely feeling the pressure here. Every time Envy attack, it is a deadly one. You know, these guys don't really know how to attack without force anymore. Certainly of all the top teams, Envy have taken the most strides in recent times, where NRG and even Space Station have been faltering, and G2 have never really got started. Envy are getting better and better, and there's Mist to separate the 2 teams in OT. He goes alone. Arsenal did not expect him to go that high with the first touch. He was maybe reading a reset play. Went in extremely low for the block, and he did not make contact. Envy take game one, and they look fantastic here. Space Station Gaming had a pretty good comeback to keep this alive, but overall it's a bit of a confusing defensive performance from SSG. Rettles in particular, he needs to just calm down a little bit. I feel he's playing well. It's it is definitely just a full team effort from Envy overpowering SSG in this game, but there's a couple of key moments for Rettles in defense. I think he just needs to stay calm, and he should be just fine if he can cover the goal all the times that he needs to, and try not to get sucked into the play too early. And Space Station, I think, will be just fine in the matchup. They'll definitely be competitive here. I mean, they were competitive even with a couple of defensive mistakes from them. The amount of demos that SSG have been going for, timely demos as well. The demo timing for SSG has been outrageously good recently. Every single one is matched with a shot or a pass in field. But that is going to work well against Envy if they can keep it up, because Envy, unlike SSG, they do like to play more of a static defense. They want to just sit in the net, wait for the play to come to them. Credit to SSG, denying a lot of the counterplay from Envy in the last game. Envy were not able to establish their counterattacks like they usually do. How about that for placement? Arsenal testing Mist at the far post. Mist passes. And now Turbo will soft clear the ball, but it's only as far as Typical. That's dangerous. Rettles had a bit of a pot shot there. But it's been guided into the corner now by Turbo. Envy, as always, such a calm presence. Never panicking, always controlling the ball. Just great to see. I mean, we've got two teams here that are both trying to control the ball as much as possible. And I really do feel like that's the way that 3v3 meta and the highest level of Rocket League is trending towards. Oh, what touch there by Atomic, and he's finding Turbo in the middle here. Mist calls him off it and almost gets the double. That's a great leave by Turbo. Mist clearly had a clear communication to him that he had that one covered. Turbo got out of the way quite nicely, made himself relevant in the next play. And you can just tell, Space Station Gaming, as soon as you put them up against one of the other very top teams in the region, they change into a different team. The inconsistencies are gone, you know, forced errors are still maybe coming through because Envy are just that good. But none of these random plays that have been going wrong for SSG every now and then in these grid runs, especially the ones since the new year. Wait, you're saying Flakes was right? I think Flakes was definitely onto something. I don't think that his extreme variation was correct. I don't think that controlling every single play is the way to do it. But I do think Flakes was onto something. You know, controlling more plays than what was common in Season 8, Season 9 when Flakes was still playing. You know, really just not really controlling any possessions was the idea, especially in Season 8. Everybody was just booming every single clear, shooting every single ball, no dribbles. It was only when Chaussette came along and really started showing that dribbling was possible in the new fast-paced meta for Rocket League 3v3. Other teams started to take note and think, hang on a second, we might have to learn to dribble again. Pinch clear from Envy. Don't think they knew much about that, but still pretty effective. Missed dunks on Cyprical's clear attempt. Arsenal brings the ball down in the corner. He's past Turbo, but only with the ball. His car did not make it past Turbo's challenge. A miss. Always a threat waiting in the middle. He's such a nightmare of a player to defend against these days. You know, Mist might have started off this RLCSX season with a few weaknesses to compensate for his ridiculous offensive prowess in the means of, you know, mispositioning and getting a little bit on the wrong side of the ball in defense. Oh, Arsenal's just through here. Missed last man back. Cyprical puts in the open net. But what a play here by Arsenal. I did not think that would be the last man back when I saw the charging challenge from Turbo in that play. And, you know, looking back at that save from Mist a second time, you feel like he might have been able to do better there. Just as I was about to compliment him as well on how much of an improved player he's become, you know, making life easier for his teammates, because definitely in the first split, Mist for me was a player who's a complete troublemaker for the opposition and sometimes for his teammates alike, where he'd cut them off. You know, he'd be double committing because he just doesn't communicate early enough what his intentions are. That's a great shot. Typical makes it 2-0. And a consistent defensive display has drawn Envy out of their goal twice now. Space Station have punished them. It's a very nice power shot there by Cyprical, given the fact that he didn't have a lot of boost to play with. And with a minute and 11 left, it's Space Station leading once again. This time by more goals though, so they should be good to hold on to this one. Defensive blunders got them in trouble at the end of game 1. Let's see if they can play out the rest of this one without the same script being followed. Final minute of the game. Atomic takes his time in the back corner. Almost got a second challenge on that one. Would have been great. If he'd 50-50 that ball with Arsenal, it would have been ideal for his team. Maybe even buying his team a 2 or 3v1. It's missed again. Trying to dissect this Space Station Gaming defense. But he can't do it alone here. Space Station have been a solid unit of a defensive lineup here. Turbo with one last shot. It's into the post off Arsenal's touch actually, and now Turbo's going to redirect onto his own net, but it's saved by Mist. So a couple of imposters there. Arsenal at the end of the game. You know, I'm sure he had full control there, but those of you who have followed Space Station's group stage matches will know why I was so scared to see Arsenal hitting the ball near his own goal here. He's had a couple of days. You know, he's had a couple of days with some questionable defensive touches. But that turned out not to be one of them, so well played Arsenal. He did have control, and Space Station have kept Envy scoreless in Game 2. Much better defense from Space Station in this game. You know, Rettles is actually bottom of the scoreboard here with almost no points. He was top of the scoreboard in the last game, but had a couple of mistakes that kind of cost Space Station dear. So it really goes to show you don't have to be putting in a ton of ball touches. You don't have to be you know, getting tons of points on the Rocket League scoreboard to make a perfectly good contribution. Space Station have just kept Envy completely scoreless. They've kept a clean sheet in a game, and Rettles didn't really have to do anything that would lead to him getting points on the scoreboard. Just rotated around. The entire Space Station lineup just played off each other perfectly. And that's in comparison to last game where he was top of the scoreboard, over 600 points. But he assisted Envy's second goal, and he was definitely out of position for Envy's first. Although the first goal wasn't just a Rettles mistake, it was definitely the full team. Space Station should have agreed amongst themselves whose job it was to cover the goal, whose job it was to challenge the ball. Not trying to throw blame on Rettles here, just merely drawing attention to the fact that there's more to Rocket League than the scoreboard. And the off-the-ball plays of Rettles are definitely at the very top of Rocket League right now. What a shot there by Arsenal. Atomic, oh my goodness, that's a crazy read. Where he jumped, saw that the shot wasn't in fact on target, it was going to the backboard, and instead of flying back down, he just keeps on flying and perfectly chips the ball clear off his own back wall bounce. That's ridiculous from Atomic. Almost impossible for Space Station to read that and play an interception off it. Since then, the pressure has been completely relieved. Space Station are trying to up the tempo though. Envy are, again, quite stationary in defense, and Space Station are probably going to go for more demo plays to capitalize on that. Not that Space Station only play demos onto stationary defenders. They love to play catch up and cat and mouse as well with anyone who does try to run away. But you can see that win has definitely given Space Station confidence. They are charging forward now with aggression, which has not really been present in any of the games up until now. They do have to be careful. So all it takes is one good pass in defense from Envy, and Space Station could be hit on the counter-attack. We've seen it so many times from Envy. Space Station, I'm sure, are aware of that danger. That's not going to stop them from piling forwards. Looks like pace is in Space Station's hands right now. Oh, that's cheeky. Rettles, while driving in to what usually would be a demo position, has just popped the ball on target. Now a pull shot, inadvertent pull shot, onto Atomic, sends the ball into a sort of back pass. Envy have weathered the storm, and it has been, a fast-paced SSG there. Will they try to continue that, or are they going to switch up the pace again? Will it be actually Envy who managed to dictate the flow of the game? It's very much been a Space Station-oriented Game 3. And a long time since Envy last scored in the matchup. 8 minutes now. So many demos still being threatened. Turbo avoids one, but that's brilliant defense by Rettles. Drawing in the challenge. He's actually got the ball past everybody here. Mist and Atomic have miscommunicated that play. They both dove in. One of them had to stay back. Luckily for them, Rettles, well, he was just going for an outplay, didn't realize the net was open. The shot wasn't on target as well. It was wide on the far side. Otherwise, Arsenal would have been there to put it in, but that's a huge defensive blunder from Envy. Regardless, could have easily been a goal for SSG, given another bounce on the ball. And Turbo just trying to get a back pass here, but Arsenal's all over him. Control for SSG has been consistent all throughout this game. Envy have hardly had a shot on target. But for all that pressure, SSG have not yet scored. And now here come Envy. 1-2 passing play. Atomic, somewhere between leaving this and getting the world's slightest touch on it. Has Turbo just bounced that in off the crossbar? No, Rettles is there to make sure that it stays clear of danger. More dribbling out of defense. Rettles misses the flick though. It's up to Arsenal now to keep this away from the Envy players. As now Rettles centers to no one. Mist is there to collect it. Counter-attack down the middle. There's nobody there to immediately follow up on the shot. As Space Station have had backup defenders in both those plays. Now, is that just in? It is! Arsenal! After Space Station have tried and tried all game long with all kinds of attacking formations, he's just bounced in a shot from their own back corner. Where on earth were Envy? Space Station came knocking, and there's no one at home. 1-0. 35 seconds to go in the game. And with how quiet Envy have been offensively here, this has got to be a pretty good result in the making for SSG. Now, just as I say that, missed going for a flip reset play. One of the scariest things you can see while you're defending a 1-goal lead. Arsenal's easily beaten Mist to that one. He might even have another touch on this. And Atomic makes sure that he won't get one. Typical. Air dribble back pass towards Rettles. Actually dunks on a challenge coming in the opposite direction. Possession play for SSG to close out the game, and it's bumping plays from Turbo in an attempt to equalise it. Rettles chips it high and into the corner. It's back into the middle from Atomic. Typical is going to try and ground it. Turbo keeps it up and on target, actually. A routine save for Rettles. Wins game 3 for SSG. What a game. What a series this has been for SSG so far. Shaky defense in game 1, and since then they've really turned this one around. You know, Envy have got 8 shots at the end of this, but apart from the final minute of gameplay, they really didn't look that scary. And it sort of makes sense as well. With a game 1 like Space Stations, you might have to, just say that Envy are trying out a defensive strategy on purpose here, because, Rettles had one bad touch. Space Station looked like they were a little bit congested in defense. A couple of traffic jams, especially at the near post side. So Envy are maybe just trying to play off Space Station mistakes here, which have been absent now for mostly 2 games. I would say that there's been no unforced errors from SSG in over 10 minutes of gameplay. Speaking of unforced errors, I don't think Turbo meant to go for some kind of a pinch ceiling shot back pass there, but that's what happened. Well, you definitely can't read him if nothing else. Now, Rettles denies another near post shot. Turbo really wants to find a way through, but Space Station have had blocks on every single shot that Envy have attempted in the past few games. Past couple of games, I should say, not few. And actually, it's Envy who are starting to make mistakes. They had a few positions in the last game defensively that had me scratching my head. Envy are not a team that I often associate with giving away open nets. That's more of a G2 thing. That's more of a, Space Station when Arsenal's just feeling a bit too flowy kind of thing. Turbo's going to make it 1-0 here. And that's too greedy by Typical. Too careless by Rettles. Turbo just 1v3s them, although Arsenal wasn't really a part of it. More of a 1v2. Arsenal standing off. A Typical can't really be going for a chip over Turbo there. When Turbo's that close, the dunk is definitely likely to happen. Arsenal lands a reset while air-rolling backwards onto the ball. Always up to Arsenal to find a new and unusual way to play things. That's a double save from Envy, and a triple save, actually. Not often are you saying a double save when what you mean is there's 2 defenders jumping at the same save and it works, but that's what happens. We saw a double commit and a save, followed up by a scramble, which Envy have survived. Not a clean performance from Envy in this game, but it's working better than the last games were. For the most part, you have to give Space Station credit for how they've defended in the matchup today. It's not been perfect. There have been a few moments where the communication's not been there, and shots have been on target uncontested, but that's been rare. And, given how shaky Space Station's defense has looked in the group stages for the past few weeks, especially against the lower quality teams in NA, I would definitely be happy with how they've defended today. Oh dear, can't say the same for Envy. That is another long shot that's bounced into the net. Now, where on earth is the defense? Atomic is far too close. Turbo's coming into the rotation, but no one's at home, and again, it's just a failure to respect what will and what can happen in Rocket League 3v3. 50-50s do go wrong. Hard clears can happen. And Atomic is, he's failed to identify himself as third man in the play there. Yes, Turbopulse is rotating out, but he's not there yet. He's not rotated yet. He's rotating. There's a difference. Now here comes Space Station. Typical rebounds wide. Now this might be a 3-1. It might be 3 in a row for SSG if they can keep this up. Envy looks shaky. Far too high of a line for the third man to be defaulting to today. Conceding a lot of open nets, which aren't even flying in at a great rate of knots. They've been bouncing it. That's a second goal in a row for Arsenal. It's just simply bounced into the goal, which, you know, it's fallen into a bounce as well. It's not like it's gone absolutely flying into the floor. Great fake challenge by Sypical. That's huge. Even plays the ball to the side to make sure he doesn't give it straight away to the Envy third man. Fakes his aerial play as well. That's insane by Sypical. And now Rettles has got a wide open top corner. He's put it wide of the top corner. It's almost, you know, when I say wide open. Oh my goodness. Arsenal! How does he dunk this? What a read. Arsenal has just completely destroyed Envy. But at the same time, you've got to highlight the Envy double commit. Turbo and Mist were both flying into the ball there. At the same time, Envy's communication has completely gone out the window. And this is incredibly unusual. You know, if Envy have lost recently, it's been, you know, other teams stepping up against them and grinding out wins. But this hasn't really been a grind for SSG. They've actually won 2 games fairly comfortably. Oh, okay, this one's not comfortable though, as a dunk comes in at the near post. It is saved though. Rettles with a pre-flip walks the ball clear with no boost. Back pass doesn't connect. Atomic's coming in for this. He's got plenty of boost for another touch, but on the reset, Sypical connects with his challenge. Final minute of the game, and Envy really needs something. This has been a disaster. You know, the past 2 games, fair enough. You can say that they might have been expecting Space Station to make more mistakes, and they're trying to play reactively off that. Maybe Space Station played a more consistent game than Envy anticipated. But this game 4 has been shocking. And the defensive line, the defensive third man positioning for Envy has been absolutely shocking by their standards. 3-1. Rettles clears the way. Mist had no chance. He's tried to wait for Rettles to drive by him, but Sypical's shot's coming in far too quickly. And unless Space Station throw this one away, they've just beaten Envy 3 games in a row. Best team in NA about to fall here. That could have easily been 4-1 there had it not been for Turbo staying in the goal. Let that be a lesson for all the boost grabbers. Plenty of those in the scene right now after kickoffs. This is a comfortable position for SSG though. Sypical's just allowing this one to come at him. Turbo, uncontested, puts in a second, and it's not over just yet. The Sypical looked casual there, and in the end, he was too casual. No contact on the play, and that's allowed the centre to come through far too quickly. It was a great bounce for Envy. Turbo straight down the middle between 2 defenders. Final few seconds of the match. Oh, it's a dream for Envy though. Mist into the middle. Turbo's got it into the crossbar. Here's Mist and Atomic. You're joking. They've only got it done it again. Envy, you can never write them off. Ideal kickoff scenario for them. Mist collects the ball with an air dribble, and that's already enough to get Space Station panicking. They throw everything at them, and Space Station couldn't catch it all. 7 seconds left in regulation. Space Station have blown a 2-goal lead, but hats off to Envy. They really played their win condition well there, and into overtime we go. I told you guys, we're going to get at least 2 OTs from these teams. Minimum. Maybe even 3. Wouldn't mind seeing a game 5 between these 2. You know, it's a Space Station Gaming grid stream, but I wouldn't mind seeing a game 5, I'll be honest. Atomic's going to try and send us there. Arsenal, with a composed catch on his goal line, denies that opportunity. Rettles, past 1, 50-50's the second, but Atomic avoids one demo and clears the ball down the line in an awkward position. Sypical again, clearing away from danger. Notice he's not getting dunked on like he did earlier on in the game. Turbo got a huge dunk on Sypical to start off this one. Since then, Sypical's avoided all kind of dunks brilliantly. And here comes Turbo, wants the far post top corner. He's off target with it, and Arsenal knocks it on just to make sure. Sypical no boost, and that flip will tell Envy that he had no boost. Might have been better just to drive forward. Disguise the fact. Oh! Just when you thought Arsenal's dunk was going to be the one of the game to look at, Atomic's done one that's even better. And I wish I didn't credit Sypical just a few seconds ago for watching out for those dunk plays. He's just been dunked on twice in one game. Turbo opens the scoring for Envy with a block onto Sypical. And Sypical must have forgotten about it because he's just been completely destroyed by Atomic in overtime game 4. What a game. And you know, like I said, can't be too sad. We're going to get a game 5 between two of the absolute best teams in the world. In my opinion, the two best teams in North America. Oh, but that's careless. Space Station and Sypical in particular is going to be... Well, he's got two ways to look at that. He's either going to be frustrated at himself or he can, you know, learn a lesson there, because that's twice in one game he's been dunked on. He's trying to be cheeky in the first goal. He tried to chip the ball over Turbo, who was coming in sideways with a high blocking angle. Got greedy when he had backup, and Rettles wasn't able to cover him, so they end up conceding. Now, at the end of the game, there's no excuse. You know, you can say fair enough to Sypical. You had backup. You can go for a cheeky outplay when you've got a defender behind you. But when you're the last man back, and there's a player like Atomic flying after the ball, you cannot try to chip it over him. That is just a complete risk with no reward. And it was unnecessary as well. Sypical really did not need to do that. Space Station were getting chances. The play wasn't going completely against them. In fact, I think it was in their favor. It's only great play from Envy to bring it back. Oh, that's a 50-50. Oh my goodness. Rettles has clearly been working out. What on earth is this? Absolutely muscles Atomic off the ball, and then I think Atomic landed on top of Turbo, who couldn't get the save. That's a bit unfortunate for Envy, because I think Turbo probably had the clear there, but not only has Rettles won the 50-50 against Atomic, but he's pushed him into Turbo Pulsar. I don't know how. Turbo Pulsar always finds himself involved in these ridiculous plays. He is a magnet to it. And speaking of ridiculous plays, Rettles getting just completely bonked around his own box here by his teammates. Not much he could do about it though. And now here comes Envy on the counter. Oh my goodness! Atomic, hello? He had the full view there of the entire lobby out of position. He knew that that was wide open. And he's missed the target by a mile. Wow. Well, you know, earlier on today, we had a missed save, which probably every plat player could make. I'm going to go and say I think every player champ 1 and up gets that shot most of the time. That was not a difficult shot. For Atomic, he should be hitting that 100 times out of 100. Maybe even 1,000 times out of 1,000. That was a complete sitter for him, and he's missed it, and that's got SSG on the warpath. 2-0. Arsenal shows Atomic how to hit the net. Perfect technique. Arsenal shoots as high as possible as he can with that first touch. He's jumping with the exact same touch that he takes off with. He's jumping into the ball and flying into the rebound at the same time. And he goes high enough that there's no way Atomic can keep him out without flying, and that just makes it really difficult for Atomic to know exactly where the back wall is. So perfect play there from Arsenal. He didn't put it too high to make it unscorable. Definitely not for him. For Arsenal, that's just you know, just another day at the office. No problem with those kind of angles. So once again, Space Station Gaming have got themselves a 2-goal lead against the best team in North America. There's longer to hold on to it, but still, they should be able to pull this off. Atomic called off. He's been informed by his teammates that Sypical's beaten him to that one. Just tries to fly down into position. This is great passing for Envy. Oh, it's gone in to Rettles at the near post somehow, and that is, I don't know how intended. It is a save for SSG with some kind of team bump involved. That is bizarre. It looked like it might have been straight between the defenders. That one should be. Turbo puts it under Sypical's pre-jump. And when Envy attack like this, they look phenomenal. That pass could not be struck any better. Turbo's timing of the arrival, absolutely spot on. As another light show enters DFH Stadium. And this will be a long 2 minutes and 9 seconds for SSG. And I doubt SSG are going to try and defend. Maybe if they had a 2-goal lead, they'd try and waste a little bit of time here, play possession and defense to run down the clock. But with a 1-goal lead and this much time left on the clock, there's no way that that's what SSG are going to do. So Mist had the respect to the first challenge there, threatening the flip reset. He did not in fact have one though, or at least he didn't have a way to get back to the ball. Atomic into the center. Turbo's not there for that one. Sitting a bit further back. They're going to play the slower game now that Envy have got within one. They're not going completely all in for every chance. Rattles with an early interception. Turbo likewise. But it's sent back towards the Envy end before Atomic cuts that plan short. A double commit from SSG. Typical's tried to recover off that. Retake control. In fact, Arsenal's got it. But Turbo, oh wow, he'll be absolutely delighted to see the quality of Arsenal's flick that's coming at him there. The amount of ones and twos Arsenal's been playing recently, I would definitely take him over Turbo from that kind of position. But the flick definitely wasn't up to par. Now here comes Turbo. Tried to get the boost steal, missed it. And now here comes Mist, and it's a double touch save from Rettles. Mist had the rebound on net. Atomic, past one, Turbo into the bar. It's partially open, Mist goes high. And that's actually the one angle that Rettles has chosen to block here. Not sure how he managed to read that one. I suppose when you see his Mist coming forward, it's just as likely that he'll go for the backboard as a net that's partially open. 24 seconds remaining. Mist against Arsenal. Arsenal's got his number. Arsenal's actually got the number of the whole Envy lineup here as he sends the ball deep into the Envy half. With just 14 seconds left. Now Arsenal's looking for multiple demos. He's going to keep chasing back Mist here. This is how Envy got in trouble, or rather how Space Station got in trouble. In the last game, Mist's wall plays in the setups have been outstanding, but that's going to be a 0-second play if anything. Here comes Mist. It's on target, but saved! And Space Station Gaming eliminate Envy from the grid week 4, sorry. What a game, what a series. It was everything we'd hoped for. And Space Station Gaming even get the win at the end of it all. Fantastic stuff. Absolutely brilliant. We've got to take a look at that bracket though. See if NRG have managed to make it through here. Come on, NRG. Don't tell me you've choked this. Oh, come on, NRG. How are you choking this? You're losing. No! Give us the script that we want. Give us Envy, NRG, then G2 maybe. Come on. The big four. Give it to us.